Hello, welcome back. This is Mo's Footprints. Thank you for joining me today. I hope everybody is staying healthy and staying safe. Today I'm going to take you on an adventure to my backyard and show you how my family made a DIY patio fire pit area. As you can see in this video, it took about 6 minutes to make this area. Just kidding. This project actually took about 3 weeks. Due to some planning, we also had some rain days, and we also had some other mini projects in between this project. So I want to say altogether it would probably took about 5 to 6 days, but in reality it actually took about 3 weeks just because there was some planning in this process. First, I had to decide where I wanted the mini patio area, and I decided to put it closer to the driveway because this is usually where we grill. And then I outlined it with some spray paint. Then we decided to use some lava rocks for the base of the patio. And my kids are here helping me transfer the rocks from this area into the patio area. Next, I put the border in. I didn't want to put the border in at first because I didn't want the kids stepping on the border. Here you can see I'm putting the stakes in. I'm counting about every fourth hole to put the stakes in just to make sure it's extra secure. You don't have to do every fourth hole, but I just wanted to make sure it was down and it was secured. Next, we spread out all the lava rocks throughout the patio area. Ta-da! And look, the patio is laid down and it's so perfect. It's almost perfect. You can't tell in this video, but we do have a slant in our backyard. So to fix this, I didn't want to have to dig up the dirt and level it. So we laid down some bricks on the back part of the patio area and just laid more rocks on top to level this surface area. I really wanted an open top patio area with lights, so I didn't want to put a canopy in this area. I also didn't want to dig huge holes into the ground to put the poles in, so we decided to make these flower pots with the poles. Also, we put hooks on there so that we can also hang the lights. As you can see here, Leanne is mixing the cement. He's not using gloves, but I definitely recommend using gloves for this process. We used fast dry cement, and this was actually pretty fast. In about 45 minutes, it was already starting to harden. And as you can see here, at first we had Titus holding the poles, but he was swaying back and forth too much and couldn't hold it in place. So we decided to stop and build this structure just to hold the poles in place. And as you can see here, this was a pretty fast process. There is directions on the bag on how much water you had to use, but Leon really kind of just eyeballed it and made sure there was enough water. The more water you put in there, the longer it just took to harden. So he didn't put too much water in there, just enough so that it could like mold right around the poles. So now that we're done, we just kind of let this sit for a couple of days. So total fail on our part. About a week later, grass and weeds were growing through their patio area, so we had no choice but to dig everything out and lay down some landscaping weed preventing fabric. And then we laid all the rocks back in place where it belongs. Next, this was my favorite part of the project. I finally get to plant all my beautiful flowers into the flower pots. We made 6 flower pots that we put along the side of the borders, and also at the top of the flower pot we put hooks so we could string lights. This process did take a lot longer than I had planned to, just because I'm so OCD. I wanted to make sure all the flower pots looked exactly the same, and so I took a little more time making sure all the flower pots were absolutely just beautiful and perfect. And here you can see this is what it looks like before I put all the flowers in. I'm arranging the flowers. I'm just putting them in the areas that I want in the flower pot. I wanted to make sure they were very full. After I did this with all 6 flower pots, then I went back and added some dirt into it to make sure that it was pretty firm. With the rain that we have, I just didn't want things falling apart or floating away. I also made sure I picked flowers that come back year after year, so I wouldn't have to redo this process every year. And the good thing about these portable flower pots is I can take this into my house during the winter time to keep the plants from getting frost and keeping the roots good, instead of putting mulch on top of it and waiting for the winter to pass. Ta-da! After a couple of hours, I was finally done, and look at it, it's so beautiful. I totally love how everything turned out. Next, we decided to use some LED solar lights for the lighting. As you can see here, to connect the lighting, we used zip ties and they worked perfectly. We decided to use solar lights because I didn't want to have a huge long cord go across the driveway from my house into the patio area. And also it does save a little money on some electricity use also. Putting the finishing touches on it, we added some Adirondack chairs and a fire pit in the middle. And there you have it, our patio.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. Never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine.